What's up, Graham? It's Guys here.
What's going on, Anxious? It's Investor here. Let's try it again. What's going on, investors? It's Anxious here. I actually like that one. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be looking at one of my favorite investing channels, running a little commentary and talking about something that I've always advised many people not to do. Yes, sell your properties. I even spoke about it over here as one of my biggest mistakes. And this guy, who is an astute investor, he's been in the game for a while, he's got 3 million subscribers over on YouTube, and that's a lot of subscribers, is now selling one of his properties. So why? Why after 11 years of holding a property that he bought and had the same tenant in, would he be doing this? Well, guys, we're going to find out today.
Yep, it's official. The housing market bubble could burst this year.
Well, you've heard it there, guys. The housing market is a mess. In fact, I'm going to be dropping a video shortly after this one around a market crash, looking at some of the stuff that's going on in the world today, and some things you probably should be aware of.
And the most shocking from all of this is that I'm going to be putting my home on the market for sale.
Now, this is a surprise. This is something that I didn't think I'd hear this guy say, because the only time I've ever felt I've not done too well, it's not when I've lost money to build this. It's not when fake gurus have robbed me of money. It's actually when I've sold an asset, because I look back and I think, if only I just retained that. Release some equity, got a consent to let, did something a little bit more creative rather than selling an asset.
It is shocking to see the current state of the market. And even though housing prices rarely ever see any abrupt movements, we are about to see some fundamental changes to home affordability, and that is worth breaking down.
Well, this is a great point. We're limited in supply. Demand is obviously through the roof.
Oh wait, you just blinked. Rents are now up 40%.
Rental prices are going crazy. Interest rates are increasing. Houses are selling before they're even getting listed. I mean, I could go on.
But before we start, I know I joke all the time about asking you to smash the like button, but in all seriousness, the more likes a video gets, the more likely the YouTube algorithm is to recommend this video to a brand new audience.
And this is it, guys. This is why I ask you guys, if you can, please smash the like button. It sincerely helps his channel out. Graham's got over 3 million by consistently asking people throughout his videos to do this.
So if you want this video to randomly show up in someone else's homepage,
I know you guys want that.
Well, they think to themselves, who is this guy? And
it's the Anxious Investor, the only person who will share all of their mistakes and give all their secrets away for absolutely free.
Why is he always sad in every single thumbnail?
Well, I actually thought he was stressed, but now that I think about it, yeah, he's not too far off my thumbnails, because when I look at my thumbnails, I'm not exactly happy either.
Thank you guys so much. Now, with that said, let's begin. Hottest housing markets with some of the highest increases for both purchases and rentals. But that could all be soon coming to an end, because there are some fundamental changes coming to these 4 items that could have an impact on pricing throughout 2022.
So he runs through in this video 4 key items, all fundamental, key, important things that we over here in the UK are also experiencing.
Another consideration that they mentioned is that mortgage rates tend to be pretty sticky, in the sense that once a homeowner locks in a low interest rate fixed for 30 years, they're less likely to move, because if they did, they would have to lock in a new higher interest rate, therefore costing them more money, meaning they're less likely to sell.
Now, I think this is a really great point, because sometimes just the stress or the potential of having higher mortgage payments by taking out another product, there might be early repayment charges if you leave that mortgage early, can sometimes see people just stay where they currently are. Great point.
And we got new mortgage options.
Well, we are seeing some new lenders coming to the market, quite a few different types of products, a lot of help to buy schemes. We've also seen one that I recently did a video on, where they're giving 7.5 times your salary as a mortgage, although it's only specific for certain occupations.
But finally, the words I never thought I would say, I'm going to be listing one of my rental properties on the market for sale. See, when I first started selling real estate in 2008, I heard a recurring theme throughout some of my wealthiest clients. They almost all said that they regret selling their first few properties, and they would have been much better off had they just held.
Literally what I tell you guys. So Graham's heard this from savvy investors. I've told you, so you guys have heard it from the Anxious Investor. Guys, where you can, try and keep your properties, try and retain those. Of course, if you're flipping and you're a trader, that's a different story. But generally speaking, you're gonna be thanking me one day if you hold on to those properties.
Situation, this is a property that I purchased in 2011 for $72,000 in cash, and since then I've had the same tenant paying the same rent for the last 10 years.
And that's brilliant, isn't it? $77,000 for a home that he's had a tenant in for 11 years. I mean, that's a dream, no voids. I'm assuming very little maintenance. That's decent. And that house is now probably worth double, maybe even more.
I honestly had no intention of ever selling it until recently, when there was some unexpected water damage.
Water. Now, water doesn't mess around, guys. I've had roofs fall down on me. Literally one of them a day before I was about to sell the house. I've had others during a renovation, and also I've had the wrong insurance in place for one of those as well. So get the right insurance, be careful with the water damage. It doesn't mess around. When water starts leaking, I don't actually have anything witty to say after that. It's not a good thing.
The insurance company requires that it undergo about 3 months worth of renovation to bring it back to habitability. This gave me the thought that since this area has gone up substantially in value, I haven't been to the area in several years, now would be the opportune time to sell once the renovations are completed. And then I would be able to let go of a relatively turnkey brand new property in a state that has a relatively high tax.
So it makes sense, I suppose, when you listen to this, because there's obviously tax implications. He's now in a completely different area where he can potentially look at opportunities there by relieving some of that cash over there. He's also probably going to make that money back from having it being renovated for the last 3 months and now bringing it back to top market value. So there's a lot of things that he's saying here that maybe the whole idea of the capital gains bill and stuff he's going to get, I'm sure he's still in a tidy little profit, or he has an opportunity whereby, let's say he even broke even, he's able to utilize that and look at the opportunity cost and think, actually my money is now better closer to where I currently am. So listen, this guy's smart. It's probably one of the only few times I'd recommend any of us even consider selling our house if you have a better opportunity.
But overall, it does appear as though the housing market is poised for more of the same in 2022. Although at the end of the day, no one has a crystal ball, and even though we have all the pieces of historical data available to us, anything can happen, and it's up to us to make the most.
And that's pretty much it, guys. That's the end of this video. I'm going to keep it nice and short. Hopefully you find some of these useful. I'm going to try and do a lot more of these. It makes the videos a little bit more engaging, a little bit more fun. You're not just seeing me sit in a chair speaking to you guys for the whole duration. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.